Hey everybody! So today I wanted to do a different kind of video. This idea was suggested to me from a conversation I had in the comment section of one of my previous videos by Kenny TSE Guitar, and he was stating that I don't do a lot of videos geared towards really beginning guitar players, especially in jazz. So today I'm going to try and start by giving a brief overview about what I think is important to learn and look into when you're first starting jazz guitar. Now this lesson won't give you precise details, but it will be a roadmap that will help you along your musical journey and also give you some examples on where to look for more information. Alright, let's jump right into it. Okay, so you've never played jazz before and you want to start playing jazz. Well, the first thing that you need to do is listen to jazz. When I first started playing jazz, I remember my guitar teacher at the time, Randy Zellers, told me this. He asked, "Are you in love with playing jazz or the idea of playing jazz?" I wanted to be the best guitarist, and in my eyes, jazz guitarists were the best guitarists, so naturally, I wanted to learn jazz so I could be the best guitarist that I could. But this mindset will lead to burnout, as learning jazz is truly like learning a new language. You need to immerse yourself if you really want to internalize whatever language you're learning. If you don't love it, it's gonna be like pulling teeth. So with that said, find jazz records that you love and start from there. Listen to those records all the way through, and don't listen to them just as background music. Really sit down and listen. Listen to the melody of the songs. Where do they start? Where do they end? Where do the solos start and end? Listening to jazz in this way will help build your active listening skills, which are extremely important in jazz music. Here are some records that I love and could be a good starting point on your musical journey. So you found a couple records that you really love. The next thing that you should do is to try to sing little bits and phrases of things off that record. Do you like how somebody plays the melody? Great, try and sing it just like they played it. Do you like a lick and a solo? Great, try to sing it just like they played it. Remember, jazz is a language. Before you learn scales or theory or chord shapes, you have to have a good ear for the music. The music comes from us, so even if you can't play jazz or even improvise, having a good idea of what jazz sounds like already in your ear will help you tremendously down the road. Learning scales and theory is important, but having a good ear is above all else the most important skill. For more information on this type of learning, make sure to check out my video on jazz rhythms right here. The next thing you should be working on is having a solid knowledge of the fretboard. You need to look at the guitar neck and be able to see both shapes and notes at the same time. When teaching, I often see students struggling with certain concepts because they don't have a really good grasp of the fretboard yet. When you have to hit a certain note or play in a certain key, it becomes very difficult if you can't visualize the fretboard in a way that makes sense. Really putting in that time to learn the fretboard and learn how the guitar works will help you tremendously in the future of playing whatever genre, but especially jazz. It's best to practice your fretboard knowledge a little bit every day. Make sure to check out this video I did previously on learning the fretboard in order to get some great exercises that you can use every day to build your fretboard knowledge. Okay, you've listened to some records, you can sing some things. Now what? I'd say start learning the blues. Yep, the blues. And the blues isn't just a scale. It's how you slide into notes. It's how you bend notes. It's the feeling in which you play, and it's also a form. So start here. Learn the fundamental guitar chord shapes that you need to play the blues with. Then learn the blues scale and the Kansas City blues scale. After that, learn some blues melodies like Things Ain't What They Used to Be or Now's the Time. Then start transcribing a solo over the blues that you really like. I've included a transcription that I used to teach from, which is Barney Kessel's solo on his song Contemporary Blues. You can find a link to that transcription in the description below. The blues is what everything is built on in jazz, so really being able to understand the blues and play on the blues is important, and will help you when dealing with things in the future, like standards or songbook tunes. For more information on learning the blues and just blues in general, make sure to check out my video on the blues. Okay, so you have the blues down. The next thing that you need to do is work on learning the language of jazz. You do this by transcribing. Oftentimes, a story that I like to tell to visualize how important it is to transcribe is the story of how we learn to speak whatever language we're speaking now. You have to ask yourself, when you were an infant, where did you learn to speak your first language? It was from mimicking your parents or guardian. You would just mimic what your parents did, and sometimes it would make sense, sometimes it wouldn't, but you just wanted to use those words so you can express yourself. And that's the exact same way with jazz. We mimic what the masters of jazz do, and then eventually we internalize those phrases so we can use them to express what we're trying to say. So playing people's solos is the best way to internalize jazz language. You don't have to transcribe the whole solo per se, but you should at least learn a solid chorus or two of every solo that you transcribe. And when you learn someone's solo, make sure to really learn it. Can you sing it from memory? Can you play every note exactly like or close to what they did? And if you feel confident in that, you can move your solo to different keys or parts of the solo to different keys. This is a really good way to get the language in your brain permanently. Lastly, are there parts of the solo that you really love? Take those parts and look at what chords they're being played over. Is it a minor chord? If so, play that lick or phrase every time you hit a minor chord. Same goes for dominant or major chords. Learning a solo is firstly about getting it in your ear, and secondly, being able to piece that information that you learned from that solo in different ways. I have some transcriptions on this channel. Make sure to check them out and use them as a guide for your own transcribing. Now you've been practicing all this stuff. You've transcribed a solo, took some language from that solo, worked on your blues ideas, can sing bits of language from memory, and learned some blues melodies. The thing you want to do now is find a way to play with people. Most cities or towns have local jam sessions somewhere. These can be after someone's gig or oftentimes the second set of someone's session. Go to these events and play whatever tune you're working on. If you've learned Barney Kessel's solo on contemporary blues, which is an E-flat blues, then learn a blues melody in E-flat and just play Barney Kessel's solo. You don't have to improvise right away whenever you go to a jam session. The most important thing is to be able to play with other people. The experience of going to that jam session and playing with other people will be invaluable to your learning. Learn what tunes people are calling at the jam session. Write them down if you don't know them. Listen to the bass player and listen to the drummer. Can you feel where the downbeats are, where the upbeats are? Are you listening to the soloist when they're soloing? Experiences like these are essential in learning jazz, and frankly, there are no shortcuts here. You must play with other people in order to play jazz proficiently. So to summarize this whole video, I would say this. In order to play jazz music, you need to be listening to jazz, replicating jazz, and internalizing jazz. All the other things such as chord shapes, scales, theory, these are ways that we can deconstruct the music from the records, but these are not ways to make music. Hopefully this video gave you some idea on how to move forward in your journey of learning jazz. Learning jazz is fun and exciting, but can also be daunting and scary. Take it one step at a time, and know that learning anything doesn't happen very fast. Be easy on yourself and make sure to pace yourself. Thanks for watching this video about where to start when you're learning jazz guitar. If you like these kind of mini lecture videos, let me know below. Also, if you're interested and want to start taking some private lessons, I have a few slots open in my studio for the upcoming school year, and I've gotten some inquiries, so make sure to email me before all the slots fill up. Also, if you like what I'm doing on this channel, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more content in the future. And as always, thanks for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.